Hello folks, we're redoing an absolute classic today, and I found some stuff I didn't know before. One bit, it's like a new chord that I didn't even know was in this. So get excited, tune your guitar down into Alice in Chains tuning. That is half a step down or 1 fret's worth, or you can tune to me if you like. Tone-wise, Duesenberg Phantom, the funny little boxes Dirt, obviously. And the Morgan MVP 66 back there. That is it. If you really want to nail it, you also need a wah pedal for the solo, and you need a talk box for the intro. I'm not going to demo those here. We've got some learning to do, so let's crack on with the first riff. Now, the intro or main riff has some really cool muting going on, where you're effectively muting the rests with your left hand. So the riff would be... like that, okay? Now what you're doing is playing the open low string and the 5th fret on the next string, right? But for the rest, you do that, right? You just mute your fingers. But as you mute your fingers, there's a little percussive note there, right? It's not really intentional, but it gets you closer to how Jerry plays it, right? Then you do a deliberate whack. So although the first 3/8 notes, only 2 are picked, you hear kind of 3 things going on, right? Yeah? Like that. And you do that with every rest. So you'd have... And then the last one is a palm mute. Okay, so one more time slowly. Like that, okay? You do that riff 3 times, and the 4th bar goes... Little fill at the end, okay? So again, slowly. That's palm muted. And then you play with some fairly heavy vibrato for the last part. Ride that whole riff slowly, and then we'll move on. Intro lead part with voice box, if you have one, it goes like this. So it joins in on that last phrase with the other guitar part. Alright, but you're going to do 9th fret, you slide up, grace note hammer on that 9th fret there. Then we go to the 7th fret. Again, you do a grace note hammer on. Up to the 9th. Down to the 5th. And then we go... There's an ever so subtle bend here, right? And that at the end. Alright. Pretty straightforward. Then you're into the verse, same as the intro, but the 4th time there is a little fill. So I'll just play the 4th time around because you already know how to play it the first 3 times. So it would be this. Like that, okay? So there we have. So the first half is... Again, and then you just do 2/8 notes. Then you're going to go into some very bluesy 12 bar type phrase, right, where you're going to play. So the palm muting for the first bar goes. So the first 8th note is not palm muted. Next one is. Then you go to the 7th fret. 2 more palm mutes. With the with 3/5, right? Another unpalm muted one on the 7th fret, and then it's palm muted throughout, okay? So the first bar slowly. Thereafter, it's all palm muted. But the rhythm that he plays is pretty structured, so it's the same every time. And we'd have this. I'll play the whole thing through, right? So we have 2, 3, 4. Like that, okay? So slowly, you'd have... for the first bar. Second bar is... so it's... like that. Third bar... slightly different, yeah? Because the 7th fret's coming in an 8th note earlier there. Second one anyway, right? And then the 4th bar... that's the same as the second bar, okay? Then you're back into one more of the verse riff, but with a couple of fills in the first bar and the 4th bar. So coming out of this part, you'd play... a subtle bend there on the end. Then you're into the chorus. So let's spend a little bit of time on this. You'd have... so it's just... but you do a couple of artificial harmonics on the 2nd and 3rd time you play the 5th fret. So slowly... and this little pre-chorus fill is a hammer-on, 5 to 7, bit of vibrato, and then this bluesy run, and a very subtle bend at the end there. There's also an overdub here, just before it goes into the chorus, where you'll hear... and then there's some extra guitar parts here. I'm not going to cover them here, but over at Patreon, I'm going to go through the whole lot. So if you're a patron, then head over there and there's an extra deep dive lesson for you guys. And we're into the chorus. Now, this is exciting because I found a new chord here. That's right, a new chord. Yeah, I couldn't believe it either. But it's there. I hear it anyway. Basically, though, the chorus just goes... like that, okay? And each chord change, after the first one, comes in on the 4 and, okay? So it's 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. See, that's on the upbeat, right? 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. So that's how you'd count that. But the chords are E major, G, to a D. You can play E in the bass as well to make it sound a bit bigger, to an A. I lightly cover the E string when I'm playing the A, by the way, just in case I don't catch it. And that little turnaround, the load of vibrato. Now, secret chord time. I was playing a D7 there with A in the bass. And Jerry live does not play this. He plays it with a D. I think every transcription of this ever is D, including my previous video. And I still think that there is a... but I think there's also an overdub D7. Have a listen to the isolated guitar tracks. You'll see what I mean. See if you can hear it. So play it whichever way you like, but I always hear this now. Not. So have a listen. Tell me what you think. Their 4th time round, it just goes. So it's a palm mute, and then a fair bit of vibrato on the first fret, okay? Then you play around the verse parts. They're identical, so the main verse part. That bit's the same. The fourth time round, that's the same. Then this part's the same. And this part's mostly the same, but the fill's slightly different just before the chorus. So you'd have... Then there's a subtly different fill, which goes... So it's a double stop, bend and release, 14th fret. And this little rundown. Okay, so 14, half step, up and down. And again. Then you go, and then 14, 12. Chorus, absolutely the same as before. D7 or D, up to you. And obviously the fourth time. Then we're into the solo. Now you do want to put a wah on if you can. So that is the first part. I'm not going to play the wah throughout because just want you to be able to hear it clearly. So trill, essentially, second fret on the D. That's roughly the rhythm, but I mean, you can just play it as fast as you like. And I think rather than starting on the open, I would start on the second fret and play. You know, as fast as you can, really, but I think it has a triplet feel, so it's that for 2 bars, okay? Again. And then quickly. You know, like that. My wrist is unbelievably sore, so I can't play it too well. Then we go up to the 7th fret, and we play. And they're quite staccato. They're not super staccato, but it's... And that's a 1.5 step bend. Lovely rundown, isn't it? Very bluesy. So again. Then it's a triplet. That continues. Little bend and release there. It's full step actually. With some wide vibrato. You go to the 10th fret on the forehand. So on the forehand, bend it up. Full step. And then you hold it and you play triplets. That 1 bar, right? You slowly start to bring it down on, I'd say, the 4th beat. So it's... When you go into the next bar, you do 5 more of them. Then you do... So it's... That's the rhythm. One more time. 3, 4. Really cool. Next bit goes. And then there's this bend at the end that hangs over into the next bar, when a second guitar part basically then kicks in with that part. All right, but this part, worth getting. It's... So quickly it sounds awesome, but slowly, not too bad. That's a 1.5 step bend. Alright, so again, slowly, 14th fret. One more time. And the picking is down, then up, down, up, down. And then you do another bend. And then I would cover my first finger here, you know, so you can get that. But once you've finished playing the 12th fret on the top E, I'd go onto the tip of my finger. Okay? And then the last beat just goes. Now for the next part, I'd go into like a middle pickup position. If you've got HSS set up, then I would go into probably like 4th or something like that. So using the in-between of the front 2 single coils, because it's got that twang to it. Right, it sounds much closer like that than if you're playing. But I mean, live, obviously, he's doing it all on bridge pickup because he's only got one pickup in his G&L. But I'm going to stick with middle pickup because it sounds closer to the album. We have another couple of whacks. But those first two, you're going to be moving up the fretboard as you play them. So you'd go. Alright, so this is the next part now. You could leave that held, because I think that's what he does. So we have, that's the first beat. Rest, little half step bend. So bluesy, isn't it? You could fill in that rest with a little whack if you wanted, you know, or just leave it empty. Little, quite lazily done as well. It's not sort of absolutely bang on, you know, there's all that feel in there. So you leave this hanging over for one beat and then you go. You can slide to it or just play. And then, so that is a bend. So you bend, play the 12th fret, 9th fret, and the 10th fret, and they ring out, right? Then we have which is cool. Goes into a cool part as well. We have this. That's cool. It's really super twangy as well. So again, you'd have. Then we go. You got that to finish. So palm mute the low string. Little bend. 4 whacks. You could do those as you're moving up there. You know, up to the 5th fret, and then you play. So you've got this sort of incidental, it's not really a pull off. You hear that? Yeah, so we'd have. Again, I'll go back to bridge pickup now. One more time slowly. Back into another chorus. And then the last one. And then a repeat almost of the intro part with the voice box. Subtle difference. We'd have... Play that once. And the only difference is, I think, the hammer on here. It's an extra one, right? Which he doesn't play at the beginning. So again, slowly. Alright, same as before. Second time. And it ends with this 1, 2 part of the end. So that would be like that. And that is the end. Hope you enjoyed it. See you again soon.